Dun, 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 dun. If I get kicked out of my own stream tonight, you know what? I think there's a good chance that's going to happen. I do believe Statto has got the music lined up, so he's going to sing one of the Rambo songs.
I can remember any of them.
One of the many great songs. We talked about GoldenEye the other week there, and I said I had a really terrible 80s song at the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
It pales into insignificance compared to the Rambo movies.
Oh, man, I heard like 5 seconds of the one from number 3, and I was just like, nah, this doesn't fit.
That is my favourite and my funniest, because it's He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother.
Right.
It's just so funny. Oh, God, it's awful. The song in the second film is terrible. At least the song in the first film goes with the theme, you know.
Can we get a from
you kind of, but you've got that brilliant Jerry Goldsmith music. Just play the music. It was a curse of the 80s where you had to have a song at the end titles of every movie. I call it the breakfast curse, because it was like the Breakfast Club kind of ending. The music's good in all the movies. The songs are terrible. The music is generally based around Jerry Goldsmith's theme, which is terrific.
As I was watching the third one, the line, like, who are you? I'm your worst nightmare. Was that in all of them, or was that in just the third one? I can't remember if that was like a tagline.
No, that's just in the third one.
Yeah, because but that's the thing that people like attribute to Rambo now.
Right, okay, let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to begin.
Is it?
It is First Blood.
Okay.
Original British quad poster. I must have remembered they changed over to 15 because it's got the AA in brackets there, because we had a rating called a AA, and you had to be over 14 years of age or accompanied by an adult to get in.
Was AAA for kids because the batteries are smaller?
Yeah, yeah, you use those for your toys. Yep. So the First Blood. I'll ask you, because we always start this way. What was the first one you saw?
First one I saw would have been the second one, and it was on like a 6 or 7 inch portable TV that was in the back of like we were camping, and it was in the back of a truck. My dad had a little TV, and we'd all just sit there and watch Rambo 2.
Best way to watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw them in order. I saw the first one on a pirate video from a video store. It was one of these ones it was not yet out on video, but you could rent it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a good copy. And I saw the First Blood was the first one that I saw in the cinema. I believe the only one I saw in the cinema. The First Blood Part 2 was the only one I saw in the cinema.
Right. You just never went back after that, huh?
I never went to see 3, and the other ones I never saw in the cinema. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know why I never went to see 3 in the cinema, but I do know why. It was cut to ribbons by the British censor.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I thought, now I'll just hold off and get a good pirate copy somewhere and get a look at that. Yeah, it was one of the most censored movies. We'll get to that when we cover it. But yeah, so I've seen them all in sequence, as it were.
Okay. So you got to see the weird, like, how it evolved.
Yeah, exactly.
Because this is nothing like the final product, this first one.
Well, you're going from Rambo, First Blood Part 2. Well, let's talk about the titles, because they're really confusing. There's First Blood, then there's Rambo, First Blood Part 2. Then there's Rambo 3, and then there's Rambo.
Or John Rambo, where you guys are, right?
Or John Rambo.
Yep.
Yeah, it was called. I think it was just called Rambo as well here.
Okay, because I could have sworn I saw like a UK poster is like John Rambo.
Oh, right. Well, maybe they did. Yeah, it's on the DVD. It's just, or the Blu-ray I've got is just Rambo.
Okay.
Though. Yeah,
right.
And then we've got Rambo Last Blood.
Yep.
So, and I think if you go to some countries around the world, they're even more different with the titles.
I wonder if he does one more, if it'll be called Last Blood Part 2.
The good old Thorny in my video. Yep, I rented that as well once it was out legitimately. Yeah, I rented that. Be honest with you though, Pete, the pirate one was better because it was in widescreen. It wasn't pan and scan. So
pan and scan. For shame.
David didn't see First Blood in the cinema. It came out 10 years before he was born.
That's no excuse.
I know. What kind of excuse is that? Last Blood again. That's I like that.
Or Rambo Last Drop.
Last drop of blood. Yep. But okay, so you saw Rambo and then you saw First Blood, so that would be quite a change. See First Blood after Rambo, because it's
Well,
almost
actually,
like a completely different character.
I think back when I was little, it was the second one, and then the third one, would have been the one after a bit that would have been on TV a lot.
Yeah,
because it wasn't all that. I mean, it was successful. I think it was the most successful out of the three because they had so much merchandise with it. They had like Sega games, NES games, stuff like that. All had the Rambo 3 stuff on it. But that was the one that was marketed the most. And then I saw the first one, then the fourth one, then the fifth one. So it is really jumbled up. But I had watched them recently in sequence for the most part.
You actually came to First Blood after seeing 3.
Yeah.
So was it a bit of a culture shock to see the more stripped back movie?
I liked it better.
You did? Cool.
It was because the other two, I'll be honest, not to spoil it for the later on, but I would absolutely take 4 and 5 versus 2 and 3 myself.
Right.
I just think they balance that realism versus like carnage, horror of war, and Stallone's acting game was heightened significantly for those movies versus the first two with he gets shot in the leg and then he just gets up and does a roll, puts all his weight on it, and then maybe limps a little and like, oh dang, ow.
I had a school friend who I met him after seeing First Blood Part 2, Rambo in the cinema, and he was one of the biggest First Blood fans out there, and he was disgusted by the sequel.
Oh yeah,
what it done to the character.
Such a difference.
Yeah, but when I saw it, it was it might have been the lager that helped. But when I saw it in the cinema, I had a really good time with it because it was fun. It's just a fun, dumb action movie. Is how I looked at the sequel. Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Sure.
But I was well aware of the fact that any kind of nuance you had with the character and his set in the real world had completely disappeared.
Oh, he was an action legend now.
Yeah, he was just an action legend, and it was good action. But the first one, he doesn't even kill anybody. It's like he's trying to. I don't know if you need to recap the stories for everybody. They've probably seen them. Essentially, he's the victim of the piece, and he's just
having a flashback.
Yeah, he's just trying to escape from these redneck sort of like sheriffs and everybody who are like chasing him. The only death is an accidental one, and it's a guy who's so horrible you're quite happy to see him die.
Yeah. Right.
Falls out the helicopter, and it does have, as Pete's pointing out here, it's got a feel of a 70s movie.
Especially the opening.
It's coming out in 82. It has the terrible kind of like 80s song at the end, but it's got that feel of a 70s action movie.
Still got a lot of desaturated colors and earth tones in it. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels more real. It feels like a real film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the first one a lot. As a matter of fact, I would probably take 2 and 3 and put them over on the side by themselves. So it just makes sense for him to, they come to him and say, "Hey, we need your help," and then he goes and does it. And then if you look at 1, 4, and 5, he's like that guy that he's been through a lot of crap. He just wants to be left alone, but he gets put in these terrible situations. Yeah,
it's kind of like Pete was saying the other way. The second one is an experience in the cinema, and it's get Jack Cardiff to do photography. It looks great. The second one just looks fantastic, and it sounds great as well. It's that kind of thing.
It did give me the biggest laugh in the entire series, though. We'll get to that when we get there.
But there's not many laughs in the first one, although
this was unintentional.
Depending on your frame of mind, his monologue at the end can be a bit much. I think
he has a speech in every one of those movies, though.
He was supposed to die at the end.
Yeah, they have that deleted scene.
Yeah, and according to Stallone, the character is originally envisioned was meant to be far more violent and killing people.
Oh yeah,
and it was his idea to have him not kill people and make him the victim and more sympathetic. Yep, kudos there. He was right with that, and it's one of those films that had a bit of a troubled production as well. I think the first cut, when everybody saw the first cut, there was a case of this is never going to work. One of those kind of things.
I think he hurt himself too, doing part of that tree stuff.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Broke a rib or something like that, or a couple of them.
Yep, not quite Jackie Chan, but
No.
bad enough. It's got a great cast though as well.
Brian Dennehy.
Dennehy's brilliant. Dennehy in anything is worth watching.
I don't know about FX, but
oh, I love FX. It's great. Yeah. Oh, even the sequel. I love the sequel. And the Robot Klein. Oh man, yeah, we need to do a show on FX.
Reminds me of Runaway.
Yeah, I mean, we could do a Brian Dennehy special. We could get bestseller in there as well. Why not? But yeah, it was Brian Dennehy, Richard Crenna. Originally meant to be Kirk Douglas, I believe.
Right. Oh yeah, it was supposed to be Kirk Douglas.
Yeah, and he was like, "You got to die. He's got to die at the end of this," and he wouldn't do it unless Rambo died at the end, seemingly. Whether that's true or not.
I've got to give extra props to Richard Crenna for his when he did Hot Shots Part 2.
Oh,
and he played the same character, but he's in this jail, and they drop the keys, and it's like just out of arm's reach. So he like leans out of the jail because it's big enough for him to fit through to grab the keys. And he unlocks himself and gets out.
Yeah, Hot Shots Part 2 is one of these ones that it's actually a sequel that's better than the original, because the original Hot Shots wasn't that great. But all the Rambo stuff in that is really good and really well done.
And Sheen got big for that. Holy cow. It was
but,
still on his cocaine time. So
yeah, totally.
Just do some cocaine and lift a ton of weights for like 2 hours without getting tired.
We've got Rambo in First Blood. Then he's a sympathetic character. He's returned from the Vietnam War. Everybody's like, it's this kind of like cynical sort of like, the soldiers are looked down on and all that kind of stuff, and he can't be reintegrated back into society. And yeah, so there's depth there. There's definitely stuff there that kind of makes it more than just an action movie.
Right. It's more of it's a lot like how Rocky was a drama wrapped in a boxing movie. This is a drama wrapped in a little bit of a war movie, or a post-war movie rather.
I think so. Yeah, it's almost like he inadvertently was handed this second character to take on. After he created Rocky.
I always thought of Rambo as like the anti-Rocky. I mean, like, or the other side of the coin. Like, they both kind of triumph at the end, but where everything works out for Rocky, his brother's Rambo, nothing really works out for him. But they both come through.
Yeah,
very similar in the way they attack situations.
Yeah, and as the films go on, it's different as well. And that Rocky kind of grows, and the situation, even when it gets worse, it gets better as the films go on. His situation gets better.
He's got hope and determination, and Rambo's just got determination. Yeah,
Rambo's it's like Rambo. It's just a hell. It's waiting for him at the end of the day. It's a sense of every movie. There's just going to be a hell at the end of it.
So I think they complement each other really well as far as franchises go.
They do, and it's weird as well because you don't think that they would appeal to the same kind of people in the mass market.
Right. Kind of like separated at birth, and one went one direction, the other one went the other. And
yeah, exactly. I don't know if they did either, mind you, when I think about it, probably. Because, First Blood Part 2, Rambo was a huge success, so I suppose they did. But yeah, First Blood, so there he is. I mean, come on, guys, we can kind of see the difference already. I know that's a patent, but...
it's true, Zanya.
Yeah,
he got cut for the second one.
All the serious reports, and I don't include the ones that Mrs. Whitehouse gets up, bless her, are absolutely unequivocal that there is no correlation whatsoever between violence on the screen.
I suspect, Mrs. Whitehouse, you will disagree. Part, not the whole. Nobody's going to say that the whole of the cause for violence in society is film and television, but there is no question at all that it does have a role, and that's the only thing I say to these gentlemen: have your fun. And I don't want to preach, but I think you're really also to ask yourself what sort of effect this kind of macho business of violence is going to have, particularly on the young.